And happy hacking and welcome to webdevcourses.tv. My name is Mark and I'll be your instructor. So today we are doing something really cool. We are doing build an RPG game using JavaScript, which is super awesome. I love building games and I like writing JavaScript. So putting the two things together, I don't know, to me it sounds like a lot of fun. Now, I'm not an artist, and I don't know if this guy is or isn't. He gets most of his game art from open source art. Well, not necessarily open source, but places where you can get game art. And he did a video on the same sort of game that I'm going to do a video on, but we write in very different versions or very different styles of JavaScript. He's very comfortable in his imperative world, and I like to try to buffer everything and turn it into functional. But check it out, because this dude has like game after game after game, and there is some really amazing stuff here. So if you're interested in like coding games and you're looking for a place where there is lots of this content already, definitely check them out. We're back next week. We're back next week, and we're going to be doing the same schedules this week. We got Intro to Modern Web Dev at 9 a.m. All these are Mexico City time, so the same as like Chicago and Dallas. 10 a.m. we got Vanilla JavaScript for Beginners. 11 a.m. is JavaScript Interview Questions and Answers. 12 p.m. Designing UX using Tailwind CSS. We're back at 7 after a break for databases and CRUD, continuing with the MongoDB series. And at 8 p.m. we're doing what we're doing now. So what I have is not much. What I have here is an empty file and some images. So I spent the time to like actually make this image. I have all the dimensions. This is basically the size of the image when you're playing the game, right? I have a version of Chris's collision stuff here. I don't actually have the collision tiles, like the array that gets generated. I could generate that at any time. I just wanted to also have a version of this that shows the collisions. And then these tiny little details, Chris has already chopped up, and it's in that video. I linked it in the thing. It's really cool. But this is the concept, like when the character walks behind these things, they will go over the top of the character, essentially. All right, so I have an empty HTML file. Why do I have an empty HTML file? Usually when I start anything these days, it's like Webpack and it's React and it's Next, and it's a lot of the same old. So let's just do this old school. Let's say that we're going to make an HTML5 file. We'll just call it game. And I'm going to put a canvas on here. Now, you can't use self-closing tags for Canvas for some reason. It doesn't like it. So just have an open close tag. I think it's because you're supposed to have something like your browser doesn't support Canvas or something like that. So I will just right-click this and say, where is it? Show preview. And I'll just copy this URL and put it in a real browser. Like so. And you'll notice we don't see the text. We don't see the text because it's inside of the canvas. It's only for browsers that don't show the canvas tag. If they don't have the ability to show a canvas tag, it's just like a div or anything else, and then you see the text. That's basically the trick of how they do it. Same thing with the script tag. Okay, so we need to target this thing somehow. Now we can put our script tag up here. But if we do, we're likely to run into some issues because the script will load and start executed before our canvas is ever here. So an old trick that we used was to do this down here. I don't know if this is the way you should do it anymore. I think you probably should use defer and some of the other things. So let's do this. If we do a document dot get element by should we get by selector? Let's get by selector would be query selector. And query selector all will get all the things. So you get back like an array. Query selector is just going to give you back the first thing. And it's called canvas for us because it's a canvas tag. So let's just do a console.dir. This is just going to print it out to the screen, right? Let's save it, go back to our browser, refresh, inspect, get our console, and it's a null. What's going on here? Well, what's going on is that we're trying to access this thing before it's mounted, right? So HTML mounted. I'm just going to speak in like modern parlance. And you're not going to see it because it's not what the term they use. What about something like maybe onReady? Because there was this JavaScript thing in jQuery for ready, and you're going to see that there's not an onload, but there's a DOM HTML ready. Where's that? DOM content loaded. DOM content loaded is what we're looking for. So if we decide to do DOM content event add DOM document.add event listener DOM content loaded, the function that we're going to call, we don't actually care about the third argument, so I'll just take it off because I'm like that. All right. Now, when we print or when we refresh it, you'll see that instead of getting a null, we get the actual thing. And the reason for that is because we have waited for the DOM to report back that it loaded, and then we ran the thing. Okay, so instead of a console log, let's get a copy of this. So const game equals document.query selector canvas. We're going to need to get the context. So ctx is going to be the game dot what is it? It's get context. Yeah, get context. And we're looking for the canvas. So it's 2D. There's a couple of things we have to do here. We have to set the game height and the game width. Now you can see this is very object-oriented and imperative, and this is where people get the idea that JavaScript is an imperative object-oriented language. It's not. It can be. It doesn't have to be. What do I want? I want this background. I want to know how big it is. It's 3360 by 1920. All right, 3360 by 1920. So now my canvas essentially has a size, and I want to add a background image to this. So let's go ahead and create a new image. This is just JavaScript. You'll notice like I haven't required anything yet. There's no includes here. bg.src. Where are we at? We're going to index, so we're going to have to go /images town map bg.png. All right, so we set the canvas height width. Let's just do this. Let's separate the two, like with like. Let's put the game stuff, which is the canvas stuff, up here, so that when we want to extract it, it's all together. And let's keep the contexty stuff here. All right, so ctx dot yeah, ctx dot we need to we have to set the image. So let's do draw image. We can pass in that BG now. We have to say what the top left is going to be. So 0, 0 is like the top left of your screen. If it was negative, then it would be offset. And if we were to then, let's just comment this out. Well, we don't need it right now. If we were then to look at our browser and refresh it. We're supposed to be seeing our image. We're not seeing our image. The reason we're not seeing our image is because it's the same problem as that we had before with this thing here. Except this time it's this image that hasn't actually loaded yet. So the way to handle this usually is to say, this CTX draw image, we're going to wait until the image is actually there. So we can do bg onload. And this is just going to be set to an arrow function. It doesn't have to be an arrow function. It could be anything. And we're just going to say when this thing actually loads, then we're going to draw the image. Oh yeah, I still have to give it a fill rect probably. The fill rect? It wouldn't be on the game though, it'd be on the context. CTX dot fill rect. We're filling it with white, and what would this, well, this would be the game dot width first, and then the game dot height. This drives me crazy that these two are backward. I always do width and then height because most APIs and libraries work that. All right, might have to do some debugging now. We have filled the rect. We never set the color. Do we have to set the color? We shouldn't have to set the color. Fill style. Think I can just give it color like that. Yeah, see, that's not actually helping us. Do I have my name right? Images, BGSRC, BGSRC. The image looks right. Oh, well, I'm trying to call context before I have my context. How come I didn't get an error for that? Oh, because I don't have strict mode on, huh? Use strict will prevent hoisting and a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, so are we even getting in here? Let's just make sure that I haven't done something really stupid. So we'll just say this is, loaded. All right, so loaded, we get loaded. This would be our game, and I'll show you a trick. One of the reasons why I use dir is because you can just give it an object. What you get is you get back that object with a key so that you can see what you have. So we have a game key, and I mean, that looks right. The dimensions are right. All right, so let's check the context. Our context at this point should not have the background image, but it will soon. Here's our context. It's our rendering 2D context. Okay, cool. 0 alpha, so it doesn't have any color. Well, actually, 0 would be color. No, it has a 1 alpha, which would be like, solid. We're setting a new image. We're setting the SRC. Let's see, index. So the same folder or the same root. We're in SRC, and then into images. And then town map bgpng. That's correct. And we're onloading our draw image, which is correct. Why is that not loading my image? Let's do this for a second. Let's just put that in a block so I can print off the image as it loads. So there should be a background here now. Okay, so what I would do is if I print off this background, which, it never onloaded. There's our problem. Look, refresh, there's no onload. It never ran. If I check it here, why am I not seeing it here either? Where is this error hiding? Oh, my error thing's closed. No wonder. Did I not do new? Aha! I didn't do new. There it is. Silliness, man. Silliness. I don't know why my errors were hidden. Oh, whatever. This is our map. And it's nice and big so that you can scroll around. Because the concept is like the character doesn't actually move anywhere. The map moves while the character walks. And there are places that the character can't walk through, which are the collisions that I was showing you there for a minute. And then we'd have to have like mechanisms to show like when this door opens and closes, and like the view. You could export another view from the program that we did these pixel art with. You could export another view where like the roof is missing so that you can see inside, and all the extra stuff has like, you know, a layer of darkness with some minor opacity alpha channel stuff so that it has like transparency. Like when you open up a modal and you can't really see the website underneath, like that. Maybe even a nice blur effect. Also, there's no reason why we can't do animation, so like these little flowers and stuff, they could dance around. All right, so step one is done. We have an imperative canvas that can render an image. Woohoo! This is where most people would just be like, okay, I'm done. I'm not most people. This needs to be cleaned up the way that I'm looking at it. So when I go like full hog and start creating a bunch of objects and stuff, like a game object, well, it already is an object. I think that's not what I would do. I think what I would do is I would have a function that would be called getGame or initGame. InitGame would take a quarks object, and I would say that the width is a default of this, and the height is a default of this. Then, why doesn't it like my, oh, because it's supposed to be like that. Okay, so it's got a default of this and this. And what does it return? Well, it would return that game. Where does it get the game? Well, you could just move this stuff inside. And so now what we've done is we've sort of like tucked away the imperative nature of this. We could put this anywhere. We could say there's another script tag here. Later I'll move this into a file, but let's just put it here. So we have this init game function. We can just call const game equals init game. What about this big block of stuff here? How would I do this? Well, I think there's two parts here. Also, I want to know, does it work if you don't do a fill? Yeah, so you have to do the fill. Actually, no, it's breaking because I put this in another script block, so it's not running under the same circumstance. Let me fix that. I'm going to put it back in the other script block so they're in the same context. I will just put it here. Still doesn't like it. Fine, I'll put it inside. What is going on? These structured parameters undefined. Oh, that's right. In React, this happens for free. In JavaScript, you have to make sure that you supply this. Alrighty. Or, I don't think you have to actually have those. But then it becomes... Would that become... I guess in regular JavaScript, you wouldn't need them. All right, so width, let's find out. Width, height. This is where we get to test it. It works. Okay. So we're abstracting away the concept of the game initialization. Now let's do the same thing here. Let's abstract this whole background thing away. So let's have another function. And this one's going to be something like... well, for now, I'll just call it init context. Let's call it CTX. Init context is just going to return us our context. So do a bunch of stuff to our context, return it. If you wanted to add like the ability to make this an argument or something, you could. Probably at some point we'd have to do the top and left. So let's do top 0, top 0, left 0. And that way, if we want to like move the screen around, we can just move that top and left. So like when we first start, we want it to be in X position, right? It's top left 0, so we should just get the same thing. We get an error. Oh, I never finished it. Const ctx equals init context. And now we're back. And now if I needed to do other things with the context, I could just pass the context into a function. And it sort of makes it abstract away. In fact, I mean, technically, you could just do, does the game ever need the context? No. Yeah, I would keep these two separate. How about call this new game? And you'd be like, well, why don't you just do that and use the new keyword? I don't want this keyword here. I just don't want it. I don't like it. Don't want it. So I would do the Crockford way and say new game, or I actually like init, because init just, it's game language. People have been creating games a lot longer than JavaScript has existed, and init has been a thing because of C. It's just sort of like embedded in the culture. All right. So we have the ability to load and set up our context, to load and set up our canvas. It's really not a game, it's a canvas. Init canvas, 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 canvas. There. That's better. So what if I just wanted to do one thing and have both things happen, right? Like, what if I wanted just to have that init game that I didn't have before and I didn't know I needed, and now I do? Well, the nice thing about this is you could just move these ones inside of here and then return them. So if I did return, do I need both of them? I'm not convinced I need the canvas, but let's say I did. Let's just return an object literal, like so, and we can just call that the canvas. And because it's in an object literal, it's on the heap, we don't have to worry about it getting cleaned up, whereas if it was just a variable on the stack, it could totally get cleaned up on us. All right, so now we're returning this object that has the canvas already initted. How do we know? Because it returns the thing. How do we know? Because it returns the thing. You'll notice a pattern in the functions that I write. I really, really don't trust functions that don't return something, and I don't trust functions that don't return something useful. So let's also make this the default for the game. And then it could just be passed into here, like so. And then we could just say, init game. We don't need to give it a width and a height. What did I break now? Game is not defined. Okay, so init game. Where is game? Right here. Okay, I do need the canvas. So let's just pass the canvas in. Thought I was going to need that somewhere. So if we just need the context, we don't need the canvas. Why don't we just pass the canvas in context? In fact, maybe we just want to return the context, but I think we might want to return the whole game. What do we get now? Game is not defined. Okay, so that's still here. And that's because it's become canvas. There we go. Got rid of the errors. We have a much more functional feeling thing now. Our init will, create a context. It'll pass the canvas that also gets created through it. You find that you'll start doing a lot less of the something dot something dot something dot something kind of stuff in this kind of code, which I think is nice. All right, so we have enough code here that I feel like it's time to extract it. I feel like if we write a bunch more code here, we're not going to be happy with it. So I've created an empty JavaScript file. Let's start by just taking everything that's inside of this script tag. We just take it all out, put it in here. Now we're not using Babel, we're not using Webpack, we're not using anything. So let's do src. We need our /, so it's a self-closing tag dot / JS. It doesn't like that. All right, fine. So we're including this thing. Because we're not using Babel or anything else, we probably have to put a .js on there. Yep. All right, so we load the JS, we load the index. We still get the same results. This is a refactor. We just move the code into here. Okay. It's kind of a lot together, right? Let's take these functions out. They don't really need to be inside of there. Everything still works. So we now have a function here, a function here, a function here. And then we've got this basically thing that kicks it off, right? It's like, hey, when this is done, the game has mounted. We're ready to play. We don't have any, let's call this images, new folder maps, new folder island, village. Let's move these in island village. Let's rename them to background collisions, or collision, I guess. And FG for foreground. So it's background, player, foreground, so that the foreground elements will lay on top. And the collision image doesn't do anything. It just shows us visually what the collision should look like. I actually have to export the collisions as like an array, essentially a matrix, so that we can take a step and say, hey, have we collided with something? All right. I'm going to need to update this. So whenever you find that you're needing to update something, that is a sign that there's more than one reason for something to change, which means that you want to start to include something like a single responsibility principle. I want this to be able to be passed in. I want it to be configurable. I want to follow the open close principle. So let's say you have to have the canvas, you have to have the background image, and you have to have this other stuff. So the background image can now just be the BG image. And where are we doing this? We're doing this init game. Init game comes to here. Right here. Init canvas CTX. The CTX takes the canvas and the background image. And I broke it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, because I have named it. So images, maps, island, village. Island chillage, because they chill at this place, you know? And we're back. So what have we done here so far? Let's see, we've got our init context, our init canvas, our init game. We've got the ability to init the game once the thing is loaded. We have a maps folder, an islands folder. We need sprites. Let's have characters. Let's call our character Bob. Bob needs sprite maps. Let me copy those over. I'm going to call this guy Bob. There we go. Right. Up. left, down. You'll notice that my folder, when I get long file names and there's a lot of repeated data, they become folders. It's just natural. And then each of these files become less and less. So we've got like a 4x4, right? We've got 4 steps per animation, and we've got the 4 different directions that somebody can take a step. So it's a 4x4. Normally, these are only supposed to be a little bit less than an hour, but this one is so fun. I'm not going to go anywhere. We're going to be here for a couple of hours. If you want to celebrate Turkey Day with me, my turkey's about cooled off. Me and my family might actually just have to sit here and eat some turkey while I code this. So if you're on the internet just hanging out and watching code and seeing how to code a game on this fine Turkey Day, or if you're in a country they have no idea about Turkey Day, you can hang out too. And I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to go check that turkey. Oh, it's killing me. And when I get back, we're going to drop the character on the screen, and then we're going to animate them so that the map moves around, not the character. So I'll be right back. I'll leave you guys with the schedule. Or maybe I'll leave you with the producers. Also, I need to update those numbers. I'll leave you with the schedule. Although you don't have any music that way, huh? How about this? I will be right back. Maybe 2 minutes. So you guys might have thought that I'm full of shit or whatever, but yeah, you know, I know it's not a giant turkey. It's a small turkey, but look at how crispy and beautiful that thing is. It's also spicy as hell because we're Mexican. We like some spices on our stuff. Sage and red pepper and a bunch of other stuff. Salt and pepper, a bunch of other stuff. Delicious. Delicious. We'll eat some of this later. We got to get back to some game coding though. Game coding. Don't get distracted by the turkey. And tomorrow, not only do I have to stream, but I have to make 2 pies. Because on Saturday, on Saturdays when we're actually doing our Thanksgiving with my my son's girlfriend. Nobody here actually celebrates Thanksgiving anyway in Mexico. Well, except for the norteños a little bit, and the extranjeros, the foreigners. But yeah, we'll just do it on Saturday. All right, so we have our background loading. We can move around the screen with our scroll bar. We can make it so that no matter where we scroll, the user's always, or the character is always in the middle. We've separated our HTML from our CSS, or from our JavaScript. We're now loading our JavaScript here. All right, so where can we take this? Well, we need a character sprite. We need to put a character on the map, so to speak. Where would that happen? Here's our canvas. What do we have here? We have our, okay, so here's where we're drawing the background on the canvas. So as long as we have a context back, we should be able to draw something else onto the canvas, and then we just say, you know, 0, 0, this is where you draw it. I think. I haven't worked in canvas in a long time. I think that's what happens. So we need to do something similar. We need to load Bob. Let's say init Bob. We're going to init Bob. We're going to bring Bob into existence. Bob is going to need the context. So we init the game. That gives us back our context. We init Bob. And we send Bob the game context. So Bob can now have the context. How do we draw Bob? Well, we draw Bob pretty much the same way we draw this background. In fact, why don't we just extract that, create another function called draw image. We're going to draw that image. It wouldn't return anything unless we made it return a promise. But why not make it return a promise, right? Like, we should make it return a promise. Anytime I see code like this, I'm thinking that this should be a promise. So let's do this. We return a new promise. That promise is going to have a resolve function and a reject function. It'll call the resolve function if everything's happy. It'll call the reject function if things aren't quite so happy. So when we get to here, once this image is drawn, we could just call resolve. We could return back the image. We could return back the context. There's a lot of things that we could do. If for some reason this could fail, we'd want to supply a reject. I'm not going to do that because there's not really a fail path here unless they do something stupid. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that console log in there. So the thing that we're drawing, what is the thing that we're drawing? Where does that thing come from? That's this image. So let's just call that a path. So we're going to pass draw image this path. Where are we going to draw it? Well, at the top and at the left, right? So now, couldn't we just say context, draw image? Let's see, then we have to pass in the context, right? Yeah, context. We're going to pass in the context. We're going to send in the actual image, which is dot / did I have that somewhere else? Yeah, it's right here. So we init it with background image. And we're going to do it at top and left. Still works. We haven't broken anything yet. Okay, so we haven't broken anything yet. Let me just refresh it to make sure. Yeah, we're still good. Everything's fine. We're separating things out. You'll see that like we knew that we're going to need to change the image, so that got separated out. So now it has one reason to change because we're going to try to change, you know, like the way that the image is done. Everything else is open close. So this now gives us back if we want an await. I don't think it matters for us, so I'm not going to actually async everything just so that I can do that. Okay, so if we're knitting Bob now, wouldn't we just call draw image, we pass it a context, we pass it Bob, which is what? Dot / images. Actually, yeah, the paths still run in the context of the HTML. So dot / images characters / Bob dot let's say that we're just facing down to begin with so we can see his pretty little face. And we're going to put him on, does the context know the width of the game? The canvas does. The context doesn't know the width of the game. Yes, it does, because it gets the canvas. But we're not ever passing that back. So how about our context? We return back everything that's in our context, but we also return back the width, which is going to be the canvas width. And we're also going to do the canvas height. So we're decorating the context. The context now has all the things the context had before, but it also has the width and the height. So now we could say, take that context.width and divide it by 2. But division is tricky in programming because you can get divided by 0. So how about 0.5 instead? And let's do the same thing. Let's do ctx.height times 0.5. Where is Bob? That's not what I wanted. Where is Bob? Bob, where are you? Your sprite should be here somewhere. Maybe Bob's underneath the canvas. How do you canvas z index? Destination over. What's the default? So you can do destination over and behind. Destination in, destination at top. Oh, wow. There's all kinds of stuff of it. Destination over, destination under, behind. New shapes are drawn behind the existing canvas content. We don't want that. It should already be let's comment out the drawing of the background. Maybe we'll see him then. Still don't see Bob. Okay. So we're calling draw image for the context. We're doing / images characters Bob down PNG. Let's just give it a 0, 0 for now. Maybe we're getting some sort of a oh, there's an error there. What else am I missing? Anything else? ctx.drawImage is not a function. Whoops. ctx drawImage. Ah, I wonder if Bob doesn't have well, we're not waiting for our context to come back because anything in here asynchronous. Hit the context, get back to thing, get back to context. That's not asynchronous. The draw image is asynchronous, but we don't care. Init Bob. Let's put, oh, you know what? Bob's no, because Bob's on the canvas. The canvas is already filled. Let's just simplify and see if maybe it doesn't like those numbers. There's Bob here now. Is there a Bob somewhere? Bob should be at 0, 0. Bob is not there. Init Bob, path, context path. Init Bob, context path. C0 is not defined. Are we writing to the context before it's ready? Canvas C0 is not ready. Not defined. Yeah, it's just saying that we're getting a race condition. Why would that be? Get context is not asynchronous. We're going to fill the rect. We're going to turn the context. The context comes from game. We init the canvas. We return the canvas. We send the canvas into the context. We create the context. We get back the context. We return the context. We init the game first. We return the context by calling init context. That should actually have what it needs. You know, we could put Bob in there. I don't know why Bob is like just chilling out here by himself. What if Bob... Let's do this. Let's make sure that we can control when this happens. Because when they're keys, you don't have any control of when it happens. It's not in order necessarily. It depends on the engine that's running it, basically. We want it to be deterministic. So const ctx equals that thing. Now you don't have to pass that. Now we can guarantee that context is there before we do something else. So let's add Bob. And Bob is still nowhere to be found. Make sure we don't have an error again. We still have the C0 error. Here's what I would do. Let's back this up to where things are working. It might be where I did the spread operator there. That might have killed something. Just want to get rid of Bob, not all of that. All right, so if we do that, we get back our background. Okay. Let's do the refactor that I did before, where we're going to move this up. So our const ctx is this, and by naming the variable the same as the key, you don't have to do something like this. Just one side is fine. Okay, so could we just say console.dir that thing? Maybe we do have some sort of a promise or something and it needs to be resolved. This is one way to find out. Nope, we get back our context. Okay. So could I do draw image and pass 0, 0, oops, 0, 0. And let's do Bob instead of that. So characters, did I spell that right? Characters, looks like it. Bob and down. Oh, there's a Bob. We have a Bob. Must have been a typo or something, but we have a Bob. So let's put Bob in the middle. We don't have that anymore. Let's see if that fixes it. Let's do this. Let's pass back. Well, inside of here, we have the size. Let's do it that way. This is going to be width. It's not going to be exact because we haven't like divided Bob in half either. Bob's got an image. We're going to be off by the size of Bob by half, basically. 0.5 and also the height. 0.5. Now Bob should be chilling out here somewhere. There he is. Bob is very tiny. I'm going to need to take Bob and make him bigger. Bob, got to be bigger, man. I'm going to open up Photoshop and I'm just going to, what did I apply to the map? I applied 400. So I'll apply 400 zoom on here. And honestly, that might make it look really terrible. I'm going to use Landcoast and we're going to see. So we are actually trying to modify, something that I don't have easy access to. Why don't I have a link to this? Let's do it this way. Let's open up this with configure editor. I want Photoshop. Open with. I had to configure something ahead of time. Reveal and explore. There we go. Open with Photoshop. Yes, I want to open. So image size, pixels, I want to switch to percent. I want to go 400%. It's probably going to make them look pretty bad. Probably going to be very blurry. We're probably going to have to find an asset that's better for that. And actually, image resize. They don't have Landcoast. Better for enlargement. Preserve details. Still pretty crappy, honestly. I'd just rather find a better sprite. Game art sprites. Actually, you know what we might have to do? We might have to just I'll find a sprite that's the right size. And I'll take a break because I want to take a bite of that turkey. It's driving me crazy. So I'll take a bite of the turkey. I'm gonna get another coffee made. If you guys are watching and you want to throw up on chat a specific game sprite, we're gonna have to make any of these bigger. Let's just work with the blurry one for now, and we'll deal with the other thing later. I wonder if I do it in context, I wonder if that'll distort it just as bad or worse. Context, canvas, draw image, scale. So draw image takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arguments. 1, 2, 3, 4 scale. So we'll make scale 100%. And then here, let's do scale times 4. Where are you, Bob? Where'd you go to? Apparently I broke something. Scale is not defined. Oh, duh. Where are you, Bobby? Bobby, you're so small. Bobby, you're not getting any bigger. Draw image takes a scale. Wait. Huh? Where did I put this? Oh, I put the scale in the wrong place. All right, let's put you up here where you belong. Let's put you up here. Where, wait, 1, 2, 3. There was another argument there. 1, 2, 3. That's what I have. And then we got 100, 100. We'll have to look that up. I'm not sure what that is. And then, oh, it's 100 and then it's the scale. Bobby, Bobby, there's something wrong with you. There we go, Bobby. Bobby, you're all big now. But we don't have our other thing now. What is this other option supposed to be? Now Bobby's invisible. So that does seem to be the right thing, but why did my background disappear now? We got Bobby big. Now the background's gone. I think it looks really bad anyway. I don't want to scale it that way. Go back to the little Bobby. All right, so we got little Bobby. We got to make the Bobby big. I don't know if tiles can do that. Let's find out. Maybe. Can. So is Bobby in here? Bobby is not in here. All right, let's create a new layer. Let's add Bobby. And Bobby's layer, we need an asset. Let's drag over down. Unrecognized file format. Oh, is that supposed to be an image layer? No, I want a tile layer. Otherwise, it's not going to make it the right size. File, map, world map. There's got to be an import. New layer from object, right? Like. What other objects are in here? Dock, house, house. But that's still. Oh. No, that's still a tile layer. That's still a tile layer. That's still a tile layer. That's an object layer. It's different. Bobby is supposed to be a tile layer. TSX. New tile set. Based on an image. Grab this one. 12 is what the map was. Let's save that there. We now have this guy. All right, so character down. We should be able to now go 400% on that. Looks a lot better. Actually, that looks about right. So let's put Bobby on here. Bobby. Now here. Let's turn off everybody else. Turn off everybody but Bobby. Okay, everybody but Bobby is off. Bobby has been made big. File export. World export, view export. No, it should be file export. Export as image. Exported image, use current zoom level. Let's change the name to Bobby. Bobby down. So now, where did I put that? Bobby down. Should be much bigger. Let me open that up in Photoshop. And trim all that extra stuff off. Lots of stuff. And that looks good. So let's export that to my WSL drive. Fine. Put it on my thing here, Bobby down. Save over that, yes. And Bobby down can be dragged into Visual Studio Code. Get rid of these ones because I'm gonna have to do the same for those other images. Delete. Change Bobby down to just down. Oh yeah, that's a lot crisper. That tiled, man, that tiled thing for pixel art is really cool. All right, so we got our dude. I mean, honestly, I think we could pack that better, but it's fine. All right, so Bobby should now be on our map. And he should be the right size. And honestly, that looks like the right size Bobby. So I would say we're in a good place to take a break before we make Bobby do some walking. What do you think? I'm going to leave this up. I'm just going to say, I'm going to put another, we're not going to get music or anything, okay? Sorry, I bet you don't want the music anyway. Let's do some text and let's just say, be right back. Be right back, eating some turkey. Less than 10 minutes. Stop being so antsy, guys. Come on, you can handle a couple of minutes. Eating some turkey. Be right back. Turkey time. I don't have my hat. Wearing this hat makes me want to carry around a baseball bat and play an adventure game. So something that I thought about is I don't like how this crop turned out. And the reason why is this. These guys have to be centered when we do our block. So if it's 12 by 12, we're going to need something like 80, 88. $12 times 7, maybe 84. So we want to move that in the middle. And actually, I think I do want to create a shape out of that. Make work path. Screw it. Let's make a shape. All right, so 84 on the shape. Don't need that anymore. I don't want to see a green background. I want to see just like a 1 pixel something here. Okay, so now I can clearly see like it needs to be adjusted. Let's make another one. Let's drag that so that like they're right on top of each other, right? And we can see that the box between them is clearly not what I was expecting, right? All right, so let's make another box. Take that one down. Whoa. Here we go. Put that right on top of the other one. Make another box. Same drill. So now we got our boxes and they're clearly not the right size. Let's adjust it until they are. What we're looking for is we're looking for a size where all these guys are in the middle. And it's got to be a division of 12. So 12 times 10 is 120. We're not at 120, are we? No. 12 times 8? I don't think we're 12 times 8. Maybe. 12 times 8, 96. No, not there yet. But now that I know that it's probably going to be 96, let me just draw 96. Let's place several of them right up against each other. Put them in a folder, change the opacity. Honestly, it looks pretty good. You have to keep in account that the bottom one has the same distance roughly from up here. Okay, so then if we did guides and we said, look, there's a guide here, there's a guide here. Let's divide this up into 4. So that's the middle of the 2. That's the middle of the 2. Okay, so how big are they? 96. That's how I find it. I'm not a math guy, but I can figure this stuff out. Let's see if anybody said hello on YouTube or on Twitch. use strict as close Mark will get TypeScript. Yeah, that's pretty much it. By the way, turkey, amazing. So crispy. So tasty. All right, I'm going to hide. I'm going to crop to this actually. We're going to have to go way out because this is a big image. But now, it should snap to our lines. Now we can zoom in. Here's our thing. Hide that. You know what? Let's change him a little bit. Hue saturation. Make him just a little bit brighter, or a little bit more vivid, a little darker maybe, just a little bit. And if I wanted to now, I could totally like do select color, select this color, but not this one. Okay, only one color selected. So let's change the fuzziness down to 0. Now we should have the shirt selected. So let's colorize it. We can change the shirt to whatever we want now. Let's say he's running around with this blue shirt. And make it light blue. All right, this is our dude. If we want to change the hair, whatever, like we could do any of that stuff. Let's export it as a PNG. Bobby down. Save Bobby down. I copy Bobby down over. Copy Bobby. All right, there you go. We got a new Bobby. We're going to delete the old Bobby. Replace it with the new Bobby. Bobby down. All right. Bobby's now got a blue shirt. And he stands out just a little bit better. We could put like a shadow at his feet, all kinds of stuff. Bobby needs to walk. Right now, I've got everything in one file. It's all the game stuff. It's all the canvas stuff. It's all the context stuff. It's all the Bobby stuff. It's all the stuff. Let's create a file called Bobby. Bobby.js. I want to move the Bobby stuff in here. Do I want to like go full hog and like create an object or a class or no? I don't need to do any of that. It's just not necessary. Okay, so at some point we're going to be drawing a Bobby. Happens here on the game. We init the context. We draw Bobby on the context. In order to draw Bobby, we just need a context. Init game gives us back a CTX. Okay, so if it gives us back a CTX, actually, seems to me like we'd get back the CTX and we get back at least the width and the height. We don't necessarily need everything else. Okay, so now we got our context. Which should actually look like this. It'd be a destructure because this is going to give us back the object and we just want the context for now. Okay, cool. Bobby needs the width and the height, which is now returned in the game. So we could also get the width and the height. All right, so how we draw Bobby? Well, we got the context, we got the width, we got the height. Like, just draw Bobby. So where's the Bobby draw? Did we put that over here? There's the Bobby draw. So let's just say we got a function called init Bobby. We're going to call draw image, which means we need to get the context. We need to get the width. We need to get the height. Sorry, that's the top left. Top left. Scale, I'm going to hard code. So that's the top. Sorry, that's the height is the top. And this one is the left. Top, left. Wait, which one did I do it? That's top. That would be left. What is it here? Top left. Top left. Draw image. Top left. All right, so we can init Bobby. We have to export it. Now, I'm a fan of like not doing any defaults. I didn't use default exports and default stuff until I started using React and it was the common thing. But I'm very much back in the idea of like defaults are just bad. Just use regular exports. Oh. Okay. So we're going to draw our image. We're going to export this thing. How do we import it? Const Bobby. Let's make Bobby. Well, it's init Bobby. So we get init Bobby from ./Bobby. But here's the thing. We're not using Babel. So you can't do stuff like this where you do like the from. You can't do imports. So you just replace that with the require. And you're good. So now we should be able to call Bobby here. We're going to pass in that top and that left and nothing else. Does Bobby still appear? No, I broke it. Where's the break? Require, not define. Oh, yeah. This is client side. I would have to load this. Man, I haven't done something like this without something like Webpack or something in a long time. Multiple. So you could do it in the script tag, but then you'd have to write like async hooks so that when one thing finishes, like another thing goes. Honestly, I think we've gotten to a point to where like I would want to put in some sort of a build system. For now, I'm just going to put Bobby back here, but we are going to separate Bobby out. Everything comes back. Our Bobby should be here. Our Bobby's still here. Okay, so we've initted Bobby. We've drawn him on the screen. But this is not the whole story. We don't want all of Bobby. Bobby's a sprite. This is draw image. We sort of want something like draw image, but what we want is we want the ability to sprite it. Well, we kind of do because we have this top left. Oh, image top left. No, the top left is where we place it. So that's not true. Okay, so we're not actually setting the image size. What we want is like, we want a view of it. We want like a window. We want to say, all I want is this part. Now you could do this with CSS, but we're not working with the DOM. We're working with Canvas. So Canvas, JavaScript, sprite. How do you show just part of it? Top left. Oh, okay, the second two arguments. The second two arguments are the canvas width and height in percentage. So we'll make those 100, 100. So if you don't pass it, then it's not going to matter. But if you do start passing it, then you have to add it. So width, height. All right. So now that we support that, we should be able to say draw image. Where did scale go? Why do I have a scale here? Oh, that's right. Because that's, I'm doubling the height. Oh, but if I do that, wouldn't it shrink it? It'll just shrink it. No, that's not what I want. Yeah, that stretches it. That's not what I want. I want to show like a subset of the thing. Actually, it wouldn't be taking that at all. That's right, we took that off. We're not doing scaling anymore. Ooh, smoothing quality high. On the context. Smoothing enabled true. I actually like the jagged edges for the type of art that we have. Wait, so you got S and S. What is the S width, S height? Canvas, draw image. Let's just look at the specs. The subrectangle. And then the other one is the subrectangle source. Coordinate canvas, replace the top corner of the source. So we can use dx and dy to use our sprite. So really our function signature is going to look like this. Because we need to support SX is the x-axis, SY is the y-axis coordinate of the top left of the corner. So that's where you're positioning. So if we're like trying to show not that one, but this one, the top left would be the height, or the top left would be the width of this sprite. So 96, and the top would be 0. So that'd be 96, 0. Okay. Then we have the S width and the S height. Here's the top left, that's the S and the Y. Then you got the width and the height for the S, that's the subrectangle of the source. So this would be the size of the thing. So it would be width and height. And that looks like it's a scale. 3 or 5 argument syntax to omit the argument. Negative will flip the image. Let's not give it a width or a height by default. Oh, we kind of have to, because it's going to be passed into here. Well, I guess we only pass into here if you actually did something with it. It doesn't say what the scale is. The width. So it is like a pixel width. It's whatever scale you're using. So I'd only want to pass them in if they're actually being used. Otherwise, I'd want it to inherit them. I'm going to be cheap. Be super cheap here. This is not beautiful code. If you have width and you have a height, meaning it's a non-boolean, a non-zero, non-undefined value, then I'd want to call one thing or I'd want to call another. So I'd want to call the one with if I have it, otherwise the one without. There's other ways of doing it, but this is nice and clean looking. Okay, so I would render it with the thing if I have the thing. Okay, so the top and the left, and I would say 90, well, that'd be 0. And 0, 96. Well, let's just do 0, 0. So 0, 0, and then the height is 96, and the width is 96. We just shrink them. Okay, so that is scaling it. That is not like a view of it. DX. The x-axis destination canvas, the D width. It allows for the scaling of the draw, but I thought this was scaling because when we changed the width, it scaled it. Canvas, draw, image, sprite, map. Somebody else has figured this out. I don't want to go through the docs and read it like that. So you have to pass all the values. You have to pass all the values. You can't just get away with passing one of the values. Okay, so you have to give it a size. I guess that's fine. Like giving things sizes and not doing it imperatively is fine. Let's do it this way. So you have to give it a width and a height. You have to give it bx plus bgw. That's the width of the thing, so that it goes like this. And ours goes in 4-way, so we need to do that with both. With his, the top is always 0. So this is the sprite top and the sprite left. You get a sprite top and a sprite left. Let's make those default to 0s. Like so. Make the ones that have defaults. Hello, go away. I don't need you. Okay, so now we have the ability to draw it with the thing. Did we break it yet? We broke it. Width is not defined. Right, because I haven't passed that in yet. Width, draw image, sprite top, sprite left, width, top left. Where's my draw image? Right here. Top left, width, height, sprite top, sprite left, width, height. Oh, I never passed that though. That was what I wasn't passing before. So let's see, the background is the width and the height of the whole thing. And I passed in the canvas, so I could say canvas.width and canvas.height. That is the size of that image. Size of Bobby is 9696. Seven is not a value for overload. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, but that's actually up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wait. Where did you find draw? Where's draw? Here it is. So yeah, he did the same thing as I do. He wraps it around. So it needs this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There has to be 9. He's just passing the same width and height the second time. Bob, where are you? Bob is on siesta. All right, let's see. Bob is 9696. He's at 0, 0. He has 96 by 96. Draw Bob. Top left, 96, 96. Where's Bob? Bob. Go, Bob. Bob has left the building, ladies and gentlemen. Right top, sprite left, draw image. Bob is still gone. Background top left with height. Bob is back. So when I did the width height, it broke. Draw image has to have a width and a height. I was giving it 96, 96, 96, 96. Nope, that still breaks it. Does it tell me why? Doesn't. Right top, sprite left. 0, 0. Bob. Where are you, Bob? Where are you, Bob? As soon as I pass those in, stops working. EG top left with height. Why is it doing that? Okay. Right left top, sprite left top. BG plus BG width so that it's walking. And the X is changing based on the frame rate. Modded by the width. But that's because he's animating. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to shift it over one. So I'm trying to do the top and the left. So the top should definitely be 0. Here's my Bobby. That's what happened. Bobby's gone. Okay. Bobby's still gone. Bobby's still gone. Okay, so top left. Let's just take those out. Let's say, well, no, actually, we want those in. Why is there not another 0 here? Not 10, 90. 100, 100. Bobby! Bobby, where'd you go? When I add these second arguments back in, it doesn't like them. But if I take them out, then the background's gone. We're doing top left. So we're not even doing the last two arguments there, right? Because we're just repeating them. So really, we just do the top of the left. It's just those two arguments. Why doesn't it like those two arguments? Top left width height. He's supposed to be 96 pixels. And it's times 4. So let's just start it off with the whole thing again. Bobby! Bobby is still gone. Well, you know, where's our background? We're setting the path. We never said the image size, but I guess it's just going to fill it. Actually, I guess draw image does it for us. There he is. Width, height now made everything really crazy because I have the extra values. That should be the actual size. Now he's all tiny. Okay. Okay. So what's the size of this image? 192, 192. So if I do that, it should just be normal size. On 192. Oh yeah, I guess I still have my turkey message on. Okay, so I gave you a size and then you disappeared on me. 192, 192. Maybe. And that seems strange. I didn't have to do that anywhere else. Nope, that doesn't help. Okay, now he's the right size. So now I should be able to clip it, right? Oh, and I'm not passing. If I'm not passing in, why is it a problem? That's what doesn't make any sense. Why would it be a... Oh, no, it's not. I think as I'm just used to this reloading automatically. Let's try this again. Right top, let's just hard code it. Well, now I got to do this. Yeah. 0.96. What is the error I get now? 7 is not a valid for background. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's supposed to take 2 more, which are the width and the height. Pinchy Bobby's still gone. Bobby. What is that argument? dx dy. We got this the size x and y. So that'll be like the top left. He's always got a 0 in. Image s, so yeah, that's top left with height, right? And then I got the dx and dy, which is what I'm trying to do. So top left with height x y dx dy. That's supposed to be a subset. But it doesn't load if I do it. In fact, anything I put in there seems to not do it. What if I do width and height again? Now it's jammed completely. What isn't like about that? Oh, that's what it was doing before, where now it's like suddenly takes up all the space. Now it'll get basically super tiny. Also, I'm getting this padding around the outside that I wasn't getting before. That's strange. Still no Bobby. Bobby. No Bobby. Oh, Bobby. Bobby, where are you? Why won't it take the second argument? Canvas, draw, image, exty. The x coordinate of the destination of the canvas. Oh. What? Holy crap, I have that backward, I think. Can't be. Oh, I just had it backward? I just read it backward. That's all. If I would have looked at the documentation, yeah, that's the size. Okay. Here's our dude. He's obviously in the wrong spot. You're in the wrong place, man. Remember I said that part of it had to do with, like, it's not going to be exact because I'm not taking in account of the sprite size. That's actually okay. That's not a problem here. We're not checking the boundings or the obstacles, the collisions. There's red stuff all over. We're not checking that currently. Whew. Let's actually just position him up a little bit. Let's just cheat. Right here. Knit Bobby. There we go. Let's do it the other way too. Bobby. Whoa. Bobby. Whoa, where'd you go, man? Bobby. There. Bobby's now on the roof. Okay. Bobby, I don't want you on the roof. Why does that break? Yeah, it shouldn't matter with the rules of okay. See, now Bobby's gone. Fine. With minus 100 divided by 5. Bobby's way the fuck over here. Okay, fine. Bobby's in the middle. Bobby's in the middle. He's in the middle as far as we're going to get him. So Bobby's going to be here until we make him start walking around. We're making him walk around is going to be next, but I think that would be better left for tomorrow. So tomorrow, I'm going to be back. 9 a.m. we're going to be doing Introduction to Modern Web Development. I think that's like day 2, actually. 10 a.m. we're doing Vanilla JavaScript for Beginners. 11 a.m. is JavaScript interview questions. 12 p.m. is designing UX using Tailwind CSS. Look, if you're not dead from the turkey tomorrow and the turkey sandwiches, and you're not working, why don't you just spend the next couple of days hanging out with me and helping me make this content better? That would be super duper awesome, right? We're going to take a break after that. And we're going to go to 7 p.m. Then we're going to do databases CRUD. We're back on MongoDB. And then 8 p.m. we're going to get back to building this thing right here. Again, I want to thank our producers, Thomas Lawrenson and Chris Loggins. These guys are our producers because they tipped us in the last show. So if you want to tip us on this show, you can get your name in producers too. Just put your name in when you give us $1, when you give us $2, whatever it is that you look. It's to you, it's a cup of coffee. To me, it's literally my rent. And, you know, whether or not we get to go see the doctor. So $1 here, $1 there. Shouldn't be too much to ask for what I give you guys. And I just had to spend money on a hard drive because my hard drive died and I was out of the stream for 2 days. I apologize for being out of the stream for 2 days, but I did get it handled and I got back up as soon as I could. So thank you all for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.